Hey everyone. Before we start the show this week, my apologies for the audio of this week's show. If you hear choppiness, if you hear gaps in conversation, or maybe where somebody didn't hear what the other person said, something to that effect, and it sounds weird, the internet was wreaking havoc on our production of this week's show. So I just want to apologize ahead of time for the kind of shitty audio this week. But the show is here. It's still good content. So here we go with the latest episode of Reliving the Extreme.
Well, we're in this season now where we're starting to get like shit storms out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like pretty much every day they're calling for, what the fuck is 60%? 60% chance of rain. It might just rain. I don't know.
See, up here,
Why can't they just tell you that? I don't know.
up here, we're having a drought right now, and it is like the same goddamn hot sunny day over and over and over again. It's like fucking Groundhog Day.
Well, but we're going through the drought too. But they keep telling us it's going to rain, and it just ain't raining.
They're trying to give you hope.
Like literally,
stop giving me hope.
Like I've been, I got all this. I must have, I don't know. I'm looking at probably 7 or 8 right now, either cases or 12-pack containers of like natural lights, because I haven't been able to burn anything because we've had a burn ban here, and they just lifted it because because it rained for about, I don't know, 0.2 seconds today. I think God just spit on us.
It just made it. Usually what happens here is it'll just rain just long enough where it can dry, the sun can come back out and then make it humid as fuck.
That's it can put out a cigarette. That's about it.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to fucking, yeah, it's the same shit here, dude. Because I've been trying to burn this shit for days, and today was the first day that they actually kind of lifted it. So, like, because the rain, they're saying it's coming, but there's like precipitation like in the air, but it's not raining. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
the humidity's kind of went away, but it's humid, and like it looks like it just sprinkled like I said, look like God spit. But that's all it is. I was thinking, it better watch. It's going to fucking rain when I gotta walk to work.
I know if you're in a mountainous area, I don't know how it is there, but where my wife's from in Kentucky, when we go down there, sometimes it'll like rain up in the mountains, but it's like the rain doesn't get to us, to the people.
I can see it from where I live, because I'm kind of like not at the very bottom of the mountain, but I'm not nowhere near the middle either. I'm kind of like just off the ground low enough that I can see like over here. It's yonder, I guess. I can see over the trees, and I'm like, it looks like it's fucking pouring over there. And right over here, it's just the regular. You know what I mean? Just nothing. But they also have some I don't know whether it's illegal or legal shooting range over there, or maybe it's just the Hatfields. Because I know we ain't wherever you said your wife's from, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Is it Eastern Kentucky?
It's
so then she knows exactly, because I'm not far.
It's all, yeah. So where she's from is all. If you're in Kentucky, it's almost to West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm not far from Kentucky at all. That's why where I'm at, it's part of it was. That's why Pikesville was part of the Smoky Mountain like loop. Because that's only about 60 miles. Because I live, like, my house, even though it's in a field, it's only barely a little more than a quarter mile away from a highway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's a highway, and then you just kind of like walk for a while. Once you see the railroad tracks, then you know it ain't city anymore. And then after that, it's all just fucking shacks. My house. It's like the only shack that ain't in this neighborhood, and it's not even far from it. All the neighbors are all jealous because we have a place. We have like there's not bricks holding it up.
Yeah, we're doing the Nate and Air,
It
or the
sucks
Nate and
around
Chet.
here. It's always an internet problem, always a cable problem. Like, we can't even get cable. That's how bad it is. Like, they're just now starting to dig, like, about up top of my street, about 2 blocks away. They're just now starting to dig to where they're putting the cable down. So they're like in the beginning processes of thinking about it. Because all the houses are so far away. You got to run like the cable all the way to the pole. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just let us keep our stupid satellite. I mean, it's going to go out as much as the cable, so just leave it alone. The satellite here sucks. Jesus.
I had satellite TV for like, I don't know, 2 months back sometime in the 90s, and I got rid of it. It was like every time it rained, it went out. It was like if it was raining on the satellite dish, I had no TV. Of course,
Yeah,
that was,
it does.
like I said, that was like 99, but
It does suck. And on some days I get the channels I didn't even know I had. I'm trying to like put on the Paramount channel, but I don't have that. But I got some stupid channel from Mexico or Knoxville that I didn't even know that I had before. Knoxville, Mexico. I'm hoping that one day that I'll find Lucha on there or something.
I was gonna say all of a sudden you have
East
all of a sudden you
Tennessee
have
Lucha.
all of a sudden you have WOR.
Oh yeah, I would totally not be shocked because I can't get that at the hotel down the street from my house. There's a motel that me and Jesse actually stayed at when we came up here. When I wasn't even living here, when I came up here for my niece's wedding, and we were like flicking through the channels, and we had WOR because we noticed it was one of our weather girls from Baltimore that moved on. Like we thought we were like, yeah, it's Dominica Davis, and we're like, but this is a New York fucking weather news channel. And then she had to smart me up. It was like wrestling. They kind of move on. I'm like, well, Bob Turk's been in Baltimore for 47 years, dude. Where is he going?
Well, since we're kind of doing the Nate and Chad show here, because Aaron hasn't showed up yet, I know you just had a birthday. How'd your birthday go?
I'm pretty sure it went all right. Yeah, for my actual birthday, I went to Hooters. Like that's what my mom asked me for. And I got to say that Knoxville Hooters, not only did it disappoint, it disappointed in a big way. Because here I am sitting there with my mom, and first off, it was the dumb broad's second day, and her name tag said it was Anna, and only because she knew her name is because she looked at her name badge. So something tells me that her name wasn't Anna; it was Anna that day. So we sit there, and then when she asked if we wanted anything to drink, and I told her that I wanted a beer, and then I'm sitting there with my ID in my hand, and she's like, "Oh, Bud Light, yeah." And then she never asked for my ID, and I'm thinking like the ID sitting in my hand, like I'm waiting for you to notice that, because then even when she did get my ID, she didn't notice today's date, that it was my birthday. She just saw 72 and figured that's like a long time ago. He's probably old. He's probably old enough to drink. So then we had some other kid that was probably about as old as that jabroni Blake DeFore guy. That all of a sudden I hear all the plates clanging, and all of a sudden the girls all like, "Hey everybody, we want everybody to know this is Blake's 18th birthday," and they're all doing the Hooters dance and everything. And then our stupid broad comes wandering back over, like, "Is everything all right?" I looked at her and I put the hand out. I was like, "What? What was this?" I gave her like a total Jerry Seinfeld. Like, what just happened here?
Who are these people?
Yeah, I come in here on my birthday. You don't ask for my ID. I force my ID upon you, and you bring me the beer. And yet here's some other little ham bone kid over there, fucking his shoulders on his back and shit, in a wheelchair and everything. And you're all doing like you're the Rockettes. And then the stupid broad asked me, she's like, "Well, do you want me to go get the girls and do the dance?" I said, "No, now I don't. Why don't I do it? How about you sit here in my stupid seat, Anna, and and you parade around the little hobby horse stick figure thing like you had the other birthday boy do, because I totally would have got on the table. They made that stupid Blake kid like run around the store with a little horse between his leg gimmick, like a stick horse. And I'm thinking like, oh, if they would have done that to me, I would have got on tables, probably knocked him over. You know, I would have got behind the bar and like poured the draft beer in the horse's mouth. Oh, they weren't letting me run around in that fucking joint. Yeah,
Well,
and then we get the big check for $100. And I wanted to ask if Anna, did you have one too? Two people at Hooters is $100. Fuck Hooters.
Aaron has joined us. Welcome.
Hello.
What's up?
This week we're doing September 17th, 1996 episode of ECW, and I don't think it's going to take too long to review. It's one of those ones.
Yeah,
It's not
much to it.
It's not that it was bad. There just isn't a ton to cover that takes place.
Come on, man.
Chad's internet's giving him the shit today.
Okay, it happens.
I have it all the goddamn time.
He's got rotary internet today.
Maybe my mom should pay the fucking bill. Fucking dollop. I'll just stand outside in the rain. Now, apparently, that's the only time I can get you guys here.
At least it's raining.
Kinda.
So, like I said, I think to review the episode of the show is not going to take us very long. So, I came up with, if you guys are interested,
I'd like to know why. I'd like to know why you said that.
Why it won't take long?
There was matches.
There was I don't know. All right, let's do that. Let's do the show, and then we'll see how long it takes. And if it doesn't take very long,
I was just trying to figure. Well, I kind of waited until the last possible minute because I was trying to make sure that I had reception, and then I'm like, well, from the way Nate sounded, it was going to be like a 90% chance of a recap show. So I wasn't thinking of much, and then I'm watching it going, there's fucking matches.
Well, I guess my thing was, even though the match wasn't bad, the meat of the show is pretty much 22 minutes of the show is a match, you know. So
I had to text you to make sure that I had the right show. I mean, that's not a joke. Like I was making sure that I had the right date because I'm like, I hope we're watching the same thing here. Because I'm watching a show and I don't know what. I mean, it wasn't. It may have been one match, but it was all kinds of other shit.
The show starts out with chaos, all kind of shit going on in the ring, all kind of people in the ring. But the gist of it is there's more drama with Raven and Sandman and Sandman's kid, whose name I can never remember.
His name was Tyler. I was calling him Sandboy,
Tyler.
but since he's been adopted by Raven, I'm gonna start calling him Lil Raven.
Lil Raven.
Lil Raven.
It's like Lil Bill.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That at least my birthday is like right there with Lil Tyler's, Lil Ravens.
Yeah, Sandman gets a DDT.
Nice that Raven had too.
Sandman gets a DDT on Raven in the middle of the ring, and then Tyler stands over Sandman, making, of course, the Raven crucifix stance. And then, like Chad said, we get to strange birthday party footage of Raven, Peaches, Tyler. It's Tyler's birthday.
And Chastity.
Yeah.
Don't forget she was there. I mean, she was kind of watching TV. She was watching my phone reception. But she was there. She was just planning in front of the TV watching my snowy ass phone. In 1996. That Raven's pretty smart.
The birthday party thing was weird, but it was intended to be. Aaron, notes. There's certain things I watch and I'm like, Aaron will have something to say about this.
Well, Raven makes Blue Meanie perform for Little Raven, and Meanie's wearing a life vest, booty shorts, a clown hat, and John Wayne Gacy makeup, and his shit's it's like inaudible. I don't really know exactly what he was saying, but every thing that Meanie tries to do Little Raven just says it sucks and throws like Cheetos and shit at him.
Yeah, he was trying to be a clown. He was saying that he was. I didn't catch the name that he said his name was as the clown, but he did say so and so, like a meanie the clown or whatever. And then he started doing like the little shucking and jiving dance kind of thing. And the only thing I kept looking for in this whole entire scene was the picture of one dog going one way and one dog going the other way, because I thought it was Joe Pesci's grandmom's house or mom's house. Because I'm like, that's where Raven lives with Joe Pesci's mom.
The
I thought
only
he's
thing was it's like Raven's making enough that he has like a 2-story house because there's steps. Like Meanie goes up them. I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, and I thought it was Peaches watching TV. I didn't know it was Chastity, but I was just
Yeah,
like, this is
it was Chastity.
she's watching fucking Springer or whatever she's watching.
It was just Snow. It was just making her. It was just. I guess there wasn't any verbal part for her to play. So to kind of like start bringing her in as part of the flock, they just showed her in the background, and she was just sitting there Indian style in the living room watching the Snowy TV. And like she wasn't mentioned, right? She didn't. Nobody said
no,
anything to.
they didn't mention her. They didn't make any reference to her at all.
Yeah, it's like every other crack house. There's always just one person. There's just people there.
Yeah, pretty much.
I did also write down here Sandman's kid is actually a better actor than Tommy Dreamer, so good for him.
Damn, he's like 7 or something. Yeah, good for him. He was good though. The only thing that I noticed was he had a problem. Not that he had a problem. He was like 7, but I mean, he looked at the camera. He couldn't stop looking at the camera.
Yeah, I have that down here too. I was like, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it makes him extra creepy because he just keeps looking at the camera. Like, do you want to play with me?
Yeah, he's just walking into the kitchen, just like staring at it. So maybe you're right. Maybe it was intentional, and or it wasn't intentional, but it just came off creepy.
And then Meanie Clown. I swear to God, Meanie said his name was Shakes the Clown, but that's a movie, isn't it?
Shakes the Clown is fucking Bobcat. Bobcat Goldthwait. That's a great fucking movie.
He's drunk, isn't he?
Oh, the entire time. That fucking movie is just debauchery from start to finish. It's fucking great.
Hey, nothing better than a drunken clown, especially one with that can't speak English.
Well, Meanie offers for Tyler to play hide and seek, and as Tyler goes to hide in the closet,
hide and go Meanie. I swear
Sorry.
he calls it hide and go Meanie.
Yeah, hide and go Meanie. That sounds dirty.
When he goes to hide in the closet, I figured he'd find Jason, but he found a present.
Like he opens the closet door and the Grand Wizard's turban falls out. Yeah, that would have been a pretty good touch.
How'd they get Ernie Roth and a Geo Tracker in here?
All you see is the little stickers of the splash from the Geo Tracker door, and then a turban
and a fez going up and down or whatever.
Pretty much. That's a visual right there in Raven's closet. What kind of operations you running over there in that crack house?
Well, Tyler finds a present in the closet, and he asks, where I like presents. Where'd this come from? I like presents. And his mom tells him that's just some present and he starts to open it, and he starts to like what's in the present, and then Raven gets pissed and grabs the present and throws it across the room. So Raven's the abusive stepfather here.
But I was trying to figure out what an alcoholic, like deadbeat stepfather like Sandman would have dropped off in a box like that. Because I was trying to figure out, could you put like a bunch of beers in like a work boot shoebox or something, like kind of thing? Like, what kind of present was it?
3 beers, 3 beers and a Furby.
It was 96. So it's probably like a GoBot.
Something he found backstage at the ECW arena, I'm sure.
It was like a GoBot or a gargoyle toy.
Yeah,
Sal Balomo's helmet.
Hell yeah! Now that would have been. I would have popped huge if that would have been it. What? Sal Balomo's helmet. An Ox Baker T-shirt? Shit, you could have made like one of them great gift boxes out of that, Raven. You are a terrible father.
So after this, well, what did we think of the birthday party segment here?
It was weird enough to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of fun to see. Like, we've seen Lil Raven in the arena or whatever, but to get the storyline going and some actual, like, not real, but I don't want to say it, like, add some realistic shit to it. You could see like where the kid's getting twisted, you know. So I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, yeah, I thought it was all right. It was something different, and that's always good, all right. I mean,
Yeah.
either going to go to terrible.
From this point forward, this
I
is a
know, meanie.
From this point forward, this is a very Shane Douglas heavy episode of the show. Lots of effort on this episode to get Shane Douglas over big time. And even though he's already over, but you guys know what I'm saying. This is the Shane Douglas show from here forward. We see footage of the Natural Born Killers cage match where Shane Douglas gets involved and hits New Jack with the guitar. I actually had forgotten most of this with New Jack or with the Gangstas and Shane Douglas. I forgot most of this happened. So, but, and then they show footage from what Joey says was show from Friday the 13th.
No, I mean,
go ahead, Chad.
you weren't off by like forgetting about it because it really wasn't like a lot going on. It was like barely even touched on. So it's not like you really missed like a bunch of it because they didn't really dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
It hadn't really started. So I mean, yeah, you didn't miss really anything of it because to me it was almost kind of relatively new.
Did you have something to say, Aaron? I thought it looked like you might have something to say.
I was just gonna say, like you said, where you didn't remember a lot of it, and I might be proven wrong going forward with the next couple episodes or whatever. But I don't think they did much with Shane and the Gangstas after this. Like I think they were trying to start something with it, but I don't remember like this like a big epic Shane Douglas New Jack feud. You know what I mean? Like I think they started it, and I don't think there's a lot of I don't think there's a big finish to it or anything. Unless I'm forgetting about something.
I don't think there is either. I think this was I think this was either a way to set up a potential 3-way dance, 4-way dance kind of thing, or it was just something that never happened they were just touching upon, and maybe the chemistry was good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Shane didn't like or I didn't like Shane or something like that because nobody liked us. So you can equate him into the problem.
Like my thing, like I was saying, like where I think they didn't do a lot with it afterwards is part of me thinks it's because like Shane did like chair shots and brawling outside the ring and stuff, but I really don't think Shane was gonna go like allowing like full New Jack type stuff. You know what I mean? It's like Shane Douglas probably wasn't like, yeah, you're not gonna hit me with a fucking Nintendo 64 and a stapler. Like I'm not doing that. Is what I think. You know what I mean? Like I don't see Shane being willing to work New Jack's style.
But I was gonna say too, as we're discussing it, just another thought. Maybe this was something that they started with Shane because they didn't know how quickly Gary Wolf was going to be able to actually come back. So hey, let's start something else with him, and then it turned out that they didn't need to. I don't know. But then we get footage from a show that Joey says was from Friday the 13th, and he discusses that it's pretty much Shane Douglas was given a random partner, and his partner is Samu, who Joey says, I don't know where did he say it happened, but he said that Samu had gotten like cut up or whatever and had to have stitches in his neck.
Yeah. And his arm was all fucked up. Did Chad freeze again? Oh, there he is. Anyway, my thing on this is, it's like, I understand they wanted to get the gangsters in there again with Fatu because he's in or Samu with the gangsta party or whatever. But it's like, if you know this guy's all fucked up, why would you pick him?
The Pajama Crew.
Which, I mean, we kind of see it because Shane,
He wasn't even supposed to be there.
Shane abandoned him or whatever. But it's like, yeah, logically, why would you go, oh, look at that guy that's all sliced up and fucked up? Oh, he'll be my partner. I didn't like
Bandages
this.
all over him.
Yeah, right from the start of it, I'm just gonna say I didn't like this segment. That's what I didn't like about it. It's like, if you're gonna go into some tag team match with like the most brutal team in the company, why would you pick a guy that's already fucked up?
Yeah, and that's why I was saying this episode. It seems like it's
already fucked up.
It seems like it's kind of an episode to get Shane even more over as a piece of shit heel. You know, he screws the gangsters out of their cage match. He beats up Samu and punches him in his throat or whatever that has stitches in it. And then, you know, in the match that we got coming up, some shit too. So I think that's the point. But I see your point too, Aaron. Like, why would this be your partner? Like, yeah, I want that guy over there. He's looks all fucked up and he's walking around with stitches and a cane and shit. Yeah, that's the partner I want.
Yeah. Give me
you got
Sammy
a
Make-A-Wish over there.
got a perfectly healthy Donnie Allen sitting there. You got Donnie Allen, Dino Sendoff. You got a whole bunch of locker room. I'm probably sitting back there somewhere, but nah, we're all not good enough. I'll take the fucked up guy.
Yeah. I'd put upon Tommy before I'd pick this cripple.
You could have even helped this segment.
Yep.
You could have even helped this segment. You could have do a 30-second pre-tape showing Shane Douglas in the back, and Samu comes up to him and says, "Let me be your partner. I hate the gangsters as much as you do." Something to make it make sense.
Yeah. Maybe if Shane really wanted to fuck with him, maybe he should have picked New Jack. that would have really fucked up Mustafa. What? as he's smoking pencil shavings, like Shane Douglas picked New Jack. Yeah, he could have picked anybody. Samu, he's parking in a special spot out front. Why not pick him? He must have been the last guy to walk through the curtain. He was looking around and saw me and Dino Sendoff and Joe Goodhart and was like, "Yeah, I'll take that guy." Even with his one arm and half a neck, he looks tougher than Chad, Dino, and Donnie
put together.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Aaron said, Shane essentially abandons Samu right from the beginning of this. Doesn't ever tag into the match. Samu gets beat up by the gangsters. And Shane even goes for the stitches on Samu. Again, just to show what a piece of shit he is. We get a gangsters promo, cutting a promo on Shane Douglas. Again, I don't know where the heat is here, but maybe they're going to explain it. Maybe they're not. Then we go into what was...
I don't think they do.
The gist is the gangsters were mad because Shane fucked him over in that natural born killers match or whatever. But yeah, just the New Jack Shane feud if it does go anywhere, I think it's gonna suck because the start of it just kind of lame.
Because it's nowhere
near. The next match is good though. It's
nowhere near like where New Jack is ready yet to be that breakout singles guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. He's maybe this is the beginning of it, but I don't think that he's like I don't think that he was nowhere near ready for that kind of thing. If this is what they had in mind for later on, maybe they were just testing it now. Maybe, because I'm not sure the crowd was ready for it yet. Even though nobody had any, nobody had any faith in Mustafa. They had their faith in the team because they always had them great matches. Because it wasn't even great matches; it was just brawls, and that's what people wanted. And they wanted more people, more brawling, more whatever, and that made the crowd happy. So they weren't ready for the single New Jack run yet.
No, not even close. But like Aaron said, the next match, our main event on the show, good match. It's Shane Douglas defending the TV title against Louis Spicolli. I put here at the beginning lots of stalling by Shane Douglas, working up the heel heat. I don't know if you guys caught it, but the crowd was chanting "Little Dick" at Shane Douglas. That's what I
Yeah.
heard anyway.
Yeah, they said Shane has a.
Yeah. And then I think they accused. Then I think they started chanting. They were accusing Francine of having a hairpiece. Because I think they were chanting she has hairpieces.
I heard
Or it
she's
may
a
have been
whore.
herpes.
I
I'm not sure. She either has herpes or she's bald.
Or she has herpes and she's bald.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they were saying that she has herpes. I'm pretty, and the crack whore thing too. But you could hear the one guy start the chant. That was Did you catch that one, Nate?
I did not.
The one guy, you can hear the one guy. You can hear the one guy. I think he tried to yell. I think he tried to get a "She has AIDS" chant because you just hear the one guy being real loud. And he just yells like, "I think she has AIDS." I said, I don't think that's catching on. The one side of the crowd's gonna yell, "You think?" And the other crowd's gonna yell, "She has," and everybody goes, "AIDS." I didn't see that one catching on.
Yeah, there's not a lot of.
But I'm pretty sure that she has herpes and a hairpiece.
I'm trying to figure out how you get she has AIDS and like the clap. It doesn't really work.
Yeah, not enough syllables there.
Yeah.
You can't stretch it. You can't be like, she's got AIDS.
Yeah. Like everybody has a sign, everybody has a letter, and it's like they're doing like the wave. Yeah, that would take all the setting up and planning. I don't think the ECW crowd's ready for that kind of preparation.
But this match again, like I said, this match is good. We keep saying it week after week. Louis Spicolli's really good. And he was good in here with Shane. Shane played. And the other thing that Louis has shown as we've gone on through these episodes is when he started out, of course, obviously before the ECW crowd really took to him. Of course, now you're going to treat him like a face, but he started out as a heel, playing heel in the ring, and now he's gone to being face in the ring, and he's shown his gamut here where he can wrestle, heel and face and do well at both as we've gone through his ECW career.
Yeah, the crowd's like I think the crowd is kind of in the same boat that I am with Louis, because I'm pretty sure that we all think that know that he's only around for a cup of coffee. So I think we're all just kind of waiting to see like where are they going to fit him at, because we all want to get behind him. I mean, he's great. He's got a great ring entrance and a awesome presence and everything, and he can work the style. But I think we all just knew that he wasn't staying. That's what I think the biggest problem was. And he looks so great when he's just wandering around in the ring. Right. He's just like waiting for somebody. He's just walking around, just standing there. Like, I guess it's my turn.
So I'll get your guys' thoughts or notes on the match. Any spots that you noticed were really good, or just any comments on the match itself?
I don't have a lot of notes on it because it was just kind of an ECW walk-in brawl, but I think the thing with Louis is like when he was in WWF, they didn't do shit with him or whatever, but how do I say it? Like it's kind of like when a guy gets out of that WWF type environment, because there he was just he was Rad Radford and he was what he was, but like when you see him in ECW and not with Shane, because Shane was an athlete and a solid professional wrestler or whatever, but when it's kind of like you don't realize how big Louis was, like stature, like he's a big guy. You know what I mean? Like when he was in that ECW environment, that's when I think people realize it's like this dude he looks like a fucking professional wrestler. You know what I mean? Like if you'd put him in the ring with Sid, you probably wouldn't see it because you'd look at him as a little guy. But when you put him in there with like guys like he's in with the guys like he is in with ECW, he looks like a fucking star.
Yeah, I
You know what
mean,
I mean?
he's around the same size as Shane, Sabu. Yeah, he's around all the same size as them guys. So I mean, nothing's going to stand out unless you put him in the ring with, like you said, a Sid or even a 911 at that point. He ain't 6'10", or or nothing even close. He's like what 6'2" maybe. But they're all in that 200 and like 30, 40 some pound range. That to me is, I consider that quality, like a quality pro wrestling size. Like a to me, that I was noticing the other day, like a guy like Takesha. Like that guy's like got the perfect wrestling kind of body kind of thing. 6'2", 6'3", like 45 pounds kind of thing. And that's how Louis was kind of looking around here. Like, but he had the straps still, like the singlet kind of hiding him and all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he still had the size. But I
I
wanted
just
Louis to
think,
stick around, man. I was hoping he was going to stick around on the planet even.
yeah, just like I think, like I said, when he got to the WWF, they made him, like I said, they made him Rad Radford. And what I'm trying to say is, like in the WWF mindset at that time, they probably thought of him as either bland or fat or both. You know what I mean? But in the wrestling world, the dude was he was he looked like a star in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and don't forget, he was also on the lower end. He was also on the lower end of the click.
Yeah.
Like he was in the click territory where he could get heat for what the click did. You know what I mean? He wasn't a big enough click guy that he was oblivious to getting any sort of residual heat from the office. So yeah, he was there.
Well, the finish comes in this match when, excuse me.
And he was
Go
wasn't he
ahead.
friends well, I was just gonna say with like the click thing, he was friends with Candido too, so he as far as I know, I could be wrong or whatever, but it was just kind of like he was kind of like in both crowds, and it was just kind of like you're a fucking damned if you do, damned if you don't type of guy situation in there.
Yeah, but you're right. But he also seemed like he was somebody that he was kind of cool enough that he could have probably played both sides long enough to get what he wanted at least.
Right.
I think so. Because I mean, Louis was not a guy that only been around like a year or 2 years. You know, he had been he had already done jobs on TV and stuff, and was he already working in Mexico then?
Yeah, he'd already been in
Oh yeah,
Mexico.
that's the other thing I was gonna say. It's like I don't understand why they fucking didn't understand what they had with this guy. He's like he's big enough to look like he could work with Brett or a guy that
Hakushi.
size. Yeah, and he's talented enough and quick enough where he was able to hang with the luchadors down there. So if you wanted to put him in the ring with like an Al Snow or a fucking Owen Hart or something, he could do that too. It's like I don't fucking get it. I just
Maybe
don't
he was just
understand why
lazy.
he wasn't a bigger deal.
That could that be a possibility? That maybe he was just lazy.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe he
I don't
wasn't
know.
happy about something. That could have been it.
Right.
Why don't we ask him? Let's ask him.
I
Let
End
me
don't
of
have
the
a
get.
show.
Ouija board.
I was gonna say, let me get the seance ready here, and
I don't have a Ouija board or incense.
So I guess it's safe to say we're not going to get a whole lot of guests from this time period on the ECW podcast.
No, because they're all dead, and Gary Wolf wanted $150. Fuck you.
The one guy who's still alive ain't even worth the money that he's asking. Is that money go to a GoFundMe?
I don't know, but I actually messaged Gary Wolf a long time ago about possibly, like when we were still in Cabrini, I wanted to talk to Gary Wolf, and he sent me a Facebook reply back being like, and it literally said the pit bull charges $150, brother. I said nope.
What does Gary Wolf charge?
That was him.
I
He
know,
called
but he's
himself
talking
the
about.
pit bull.
I don't want the pit bull. I want Gary Wolf. For $150, he should have been over here cutting my grass with his neck brace on and halo and everything. I would have gave him $150 for that, and I would have had him put me over in the middle of the yard. Fuck. So, I mean, since the neighbors were watching a perfectly capable guy sitting here in a lawn chair, drinking beer at a bonfire, watching some guy in a halo rake his lawn.
He just
I'm sure I
lariat
could
him
draw
off his yard man.
Yeah, I'm sure I could draw a crowd with that spectacle. $150. That sounds worth it. I might look him up now. It probably came down.
Well, the finish of this match is pretty much Francine interferes. Louis starts to make a comeback against Shane, gets in some hope spots, but Francine helps Shane Douglas to retain the TV title.
Hey, I saw a spot that I don't know if you caught it or not, Nate. That I was kind of watching it, but kind of was like doing something else too, like writing notes and shit. But it kind of caught my eye. It was when Louis was kind of like beating Shane up towards the rope, where I wasn't sure if he wanted Shane to take a bump over the top rope, or he was going to throw him into the ropes. Did you catch that?
I did not. No,
dude. It was Shane that covered that spot up, because I think Louis was honestly trying to feed off what Shane was doing, and I think Shane was trying to like get a reading of what Louis wanted to do. So
they had
when
they
he
had
was
a,
like
they had a,
and Shane
they
was
had a
like
little
backing towards the ropes.
they had a little moment where they weren't on the same page there, huh?
Well, I mean, but it was just a moment, because it was like I said, you couldn't tell, because Shane looked like he was ready to take a back bump, because we're going to the finish anyway.
Right.
We're getting into the finish now. So I was wondering if that was going to be Shane's. Was that supposed to be Shane's escape out on the floor to set up the Francine like interference thing, kind of go home spot? But I'm like, as he's beating him like to the rope, I'm thinking like, all right. And then all of a sudden, Louis walks over to him and like kind of like send him into the ropes. And I'm thinking like that. I don't think that's what Shane was expecting.
Yeah, I totally missed that.
But you had to look for it, because it wasn't anything that was that obvious. Yeah, it didn't stand out as a botch or anything. It was just me having to catch it at the very right time, thinking, all right, I think Shane thinks that Louis is going to do something else here, and he's planning for both ways, just in case.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and
so he got it right. But yeah, that was the finish. It was just.
I was just gonna say, you and I watching the same thing. There's probably definitely times where you're gonna pick up on something as a worker that I wouldn't notice.
Oh yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything that affected the match or affected anything. It just looked like Shane was trying to get Louis to go home. Like, we're going home.
Mm-hmm.
Was where we were going to start the spot, but Louis kind of had other plans. And no big deal. I mean, I think all he did was give him like an elbow or a clothesline or something. They still got right back into the spot, but it was just something where I just kind of caught it in Shane's whole like body language, where he's like, "All right, well, where are you at?" Like kind of thing. But I thought the match was great, man. I mean, I was up in the air about the chemistry. It definitely could have been better, but and to me, it was all just kind of an angle match, because the bigger picture was just Shane being a dick anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like, going back to all that shit. So the match was just supposed to be what it was, and I don't think anybody was truly surprised that Shane went over, and he went over clean.
Yeah, and because of the finish,
clean,
because
right? Belly to belly.
Yeah, and Louis Piccoli is hurt, or quote unquote hurt. He's gonna have to get taken out on a stretcher, and of course Shane Douglas is disrespecting him, because again, like I said, this episode of the show does a very good job of presenting, reminding you that in ECW you have all kind of different characters, all kind of different personalities, but Shane Douglas is the asshole.
Oh, it was definitely a show episode, because I mean, we could probably name, like, off the top of our heads, like 5 people that you didn't see, you didn't snip anything out of, right?
Right.
Like,
we saw no
Dudley,
RVD,
no Dreamer, no Taz,
no Taz, no RVD, no
Sabu.
no Dudleys. We haven't seen Dr. Death and Gordy yet.
No,
I think that's
Axel.
coming up. Nothing with Axel.
Yeah, this was like, hey man, this is Shane Douglas. This is our premier heel, and this was a 38-minute showcase of why he's our top heel. Nothing wrong with that, right?
No, and then
Oh no, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about him, but I think ECW heel Shane Douglas is, in my opinion, he's one of my favorite um how do you like characters in that era of wrestling. And I know we joke about him talking about like Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair and all that shit. But heel Shane Douglas in ECW, in my opinion, was fucking awesome.
Well,
I,
you know what I was thinking. One of the things ran my mind was like he had surpassed me as he was more of a heel than I considered Rick Rude, like around that time. Because at that time, Rick Rude was a heel, but he was just doing shit with the stupid tights and all that stuff that the crowd kind of laughed at, and it was still kind of like silly. So you kind of liked him, but there wasn't anything likable about Shane.
yeah, like 96, 97 Shane was a territory heel in that he didn't give a shit about
Totally.
trying to sell merchandise or anything. You know what I mean? Like he was just he like he got it at that point, and he
and
was gonna be an asshole, and he didn't give a fuck, and he wanted to get white hot heat, and I respect it, and I think he did. This is the best Shane Douglas you're ever gonna see. Is like 96 through 98 is fucking great.
he is the
Yeah, it's definitely good. I
yeah,
mean, just for him to carry the whole entire show, just basically him, one whole entire what would have been an hour broadcast on their TV, like it was all Shane, and I don't think anybody had a problem with it, especially Shane.
but
Yeah,
he
like
was the I'll say this, and I'll let you finish, Aaron. I wasn't trying to cut you off, but
it's all right.
of all the people that worked the big two, WWF and WCW, before the advent of ECW, that came into ECW, Shane Douglas was the one person, I think, probably along with Raven, but that came into ECW after already working for the big two and made the best name for himself in.
He definitely knew what he was doing then. I know that. I can tell you that. You know, he wasn't painting by numbers there. He knew what he was doing, and he had the playground to do it. Right?
Mm-hmm. He was dynamic, dude.
Oh boy,
Sorry.
we still got like 5 minutes, man. He dropped that one on us. Good lord.
Um, we also get some good shit here at the end of the show, presenting the most we've seen of this new heel character for Joel Gertner that he's going to run with and do great work with in the future. Lance Wright comes into the ring. Lance Wright, who looks like every 90s MTV VJ.
That was his gimmick.
With the slicked hair and
Yeah,
the
he's totally Paulie beating up Todd Pettengill and the WWF. I mean, that's what it was. Like you guys thought, like all that hype central shit and everything. That's him making fun of Pettengill and Mooney and all those people. That's what it is.
I love Joey Styles. Joey Styles made that comment about was it about him being hype central, and he goes he couldn't even get the whole line out because like somebody Gartner like hit him or whatever, but he goes like, yeah, he's all hype and he's in the center of the ring. So that's
And
when like Gertner when he started brawling.
and when I say like Lance Wright was making like when Paulie was using Lance Wright to make fun of that cookie cutter, good looking commentator or interviewer or whatever that Vince wanted. That's not even making fun of Lance Wright, because I think Lance Wright did a great fucking job with it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did good, man. I was almost trying to figure out why Paulie wouldn't have went the maybe try to get Stan Lane, but that would have been not only would it have been too expensive, it would have been bringing Stan Lane to Philadelphia, and at that point in his life, I'm pretty he's like Philadelphia, fuck that.
The Stan Lane would have been perfect for the
Stan
role,
Lane
though.
would have worked.
Oh, he'd have been perfect, because I even notice when I watched WWF from when Stan Lane comes in, because when he first comes in, especially when he first comes in, because he does commentary on Superstars with Vince. When Stan Lane came to the WWF, he was pretty much like, I'm just going to be whatever Vince McMahon wants me to be. Because he comes in and he's got the whitest fucking teeth you've ever seen. He's got the darkest tan you've ever seen. He's like, I'm Stan Lane and this is the WWF. Like, he is so prim and proper, and like, yeah.
He wore ascot.
It was almost like he became a parody.
He didn't have like
Vince didn't notice.
Oh yeah. I could totally go along with that. Like, instead of wearing the corporate jacket, he had a smoking jacket, and Vince didn't even notice that. Like, he was like, just, "This guy is great. Who is this guy?
Got a great tan, pal. Great tan, white teeth. Look at those teeth. Look at those choppers,
guy."
Dude,
Pat Patterson.
Vince is so stupid. He probably called him fabulous.
Pat Patterson would definitely fuck him.
Oh no, no, pal. That guy would definitely fuck Pat Patterson.
But what do you think the chances are that Vince did call him fabulous without even knowing?
You're a fabulous one, Stan.
I can totally see that.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you.
And meanwhile, Steve Kearn's still walking around as an agent. And nobody knows who he is.
He's still wearing a fucking chicken foot on his neck or whatever the fuck they were doing.
Dressed as
alligator foot. Sorry.
while he's parading around catering.
He's still wearing
hoping he can wrestle Red Redford.
But yeah, we definitely get some good shit here. Lance Wright comes into the ring, says he's going to do an interview with Shane Douglas. This is his interview with Shane Douglas. He's excited. And of course, Joel Gertner says, this is my show. And as the host of ECW, of course, then Joey's like, what? But Gertner says he's the host of ECW and he's going to do the interview. And then they get into a fight. Gertner's great here. They're both great here. Lance Wright's great as the guy that's trying to make a name for himself, and Gertner's great as the big fat fucking asshole that thinks he's better than he actually is. And Shane Douglas then helps Joel Gertner, puts Lance Wright in a full Nelson, and Pitbull 2 Roid rages out to the ring to close the show. But I enjoyed this segment too. Like, this was fun at the end, to get the announcers over.
You get the announcers over.
Yeah, I mean, it's ECW. The announcers are big part of the show.
I can't see that being brought up in a Vince booking meeting though. That's funny. Well, we got to figure out a way to get Mike Testarossi over. Whatever the fuck his name is. You could tell Vince ain't running it anymore because of that guy's name.
That guy, actually, I like him. And there's one thing he did a couple of weeks ago on Raw that made me really like him. That Tessitore guy was, all right, so your average, okay, Drew McIntyre came out during that segment with Punk and he was in that hoodie, right? And your average WWE announcer like Michael Cole or whoever would have said, who's this guy? There's a guy out here in a hoodie.
Yeah, he says Drew McIntyre in a hoodie.
Yes, Tessitore said, there's Drew McIntyre in a hoodie. I love that. Yeah. I was like, yes, like, why? He's not stupid. The announcer isn't stupid. I appreciated that. I was like, you know what? I like this guy.
It's true. Like most people are like, who is that? Or what's going on? He was just very observant.
Yeah, it's Drew McIntyre in a hoodie. I appreciate that.
But what I liked about
sometimes I
the
can't. Sometimes I can't figure out. I can't figure out why they put masks on some people like that. When they bring them in as like when you could, like everybody knew Terry Gordy looked dumb walking to the ring as the Night Stalker. You just knew that was Terry Gordy. I mean, nobody looks that dumb walking to the ring with a mask on or not.
like if you look at that David, like you said, Nate, where he was like, "Oh, it's Drew McIntyre in a hoodie." If Drew McIntyre wears anything, no matter what, you're gonna know it's Drew McIntyre. Because
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody, and I'm not saying like WWE's full like small guys or whatever, but like Drew McIntyre's a big motherfucker, and he looks like $1,000,000. He's not gonna be able to hide himself if he puts on a black hoodie. Everybody is gonna know it's him.
Of course.
But what
I mean, is that one of the things where they're trying to like just fuck with us, or are they making it that obvious? Like for Joe Testaversa to say that, which just makes it sound like he's probably either going to be there a long time or not long at all.
I just think it was the first example of a guy not being overproduced. But what I
You
liked
think?
about this ending, yeah. But what I liked about this ending segment of ECW was like Nate tried to say, and not saying try to say, but like, yeah, I got the announcers over. But we're like talking about Shane being a dick for like what, like 32, 38 minutes or whatever. It At the end of it, it was Pitbull 2 coming out and reminding them like, you might be fucking around with these guys and you might think they're clown shoes or whatever, but you still fucked up my friend. And you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
he was king shit at the beginning of it, but at the end, the heel still kind of had a little bit of
Yeah. Just
a
to remind you,
reminder of some
just
comeuppance.
that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say. Just to remind you, I'm still here, man.
yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I thought that they didn't give that. I'm not saying they should have done a whole lot more like physicality, but like literally as soon as he pretty much comes out, it was over.
Yeah.
And I was wondering like, ooh, could they have like gave us just maybe even if it was not even 10 more seconds of it, because it really like as soon as he comes out, it's over. So
That's what I'm
did it
saying.
really
I
get
like
it?
that about it. That Shane powdered out as soon as Pitbull 2 showed up. Shane was like, "Oh, I'm out." I like that
So
because
Pitbull two,
it showed.
Pitbull two
Oh,
is.
sorry.
I'm sorry. Pitbull two was in the ring when we saw the chaos at the beginning of the show that happened with Sandman and Raven. So do you think that the Sandman and Raven shit was a continuation of what we saw here at the end of the show? Was that all together or no?
Like live, if it would
Yeah,
have been at the
yeah,
show?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I would not bet against that. No, not at all. I would think that all this just happened like all at once, like, and then you let Paul sort it out.
Right, right.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Just keep it going, dude. Just keep it going. Because by the way the matches flowed, and the way guys were getting powdered out, being brought in, kind of this and that, it was like, yeah, this seems to me like it was all just like one big segment according to the way it would have been written on the sheet, in the run sheet.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. Yeah, because it was just nonstop. They had to throw in some promos in between just to break it up, but yeah, it was like nonstop. People just running out, one match after the other, just led into the next thing, led into the next thing, the whole entire thing. Yeah, but
Well,
poor Shane was definitely a heel that night, man.
yes, and again, they did a good job in this episode, really hitting home the fact that Shane is your resident asshole in ECW, and I thought it was a good show. And again, when I said at the beginning of the show, I didn't know if we were going to be able to get an entire hour out of this. It wasn't a knock on the episode at all. It was just that I figured with so much of the show being the one match, I didn't know how much we would get. But as always, we got an hour out of it. So, but yeah, I gave the episode itself a B.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that because I gave it like a solid C plus. I was teetering whether or not I wanted to get there. One of my last notes of this whole entire episode was I think we're starting to come to the end of the good ECW.
Yeah, barely legal.
I think we're really starting to wind it down.
Once the pay-per-view's over, that's when
Why
it
is that
starts
coming
to.
up?
That's no, we still got, let's see, September. We still got about 7 months before the pay-per-view. But
Just
Well, I think this episode may have been strong enough to present at the time, but man, to me, I was just like, man, I wanted, I kind of wanted more. I don't know what I didn't get out of it or what they could have done more because I wasn't working there. I didn't book it, but yeah, I kind of left it going like, yeah, it was all right.
my only thing, like, it doesn't happen very much, but this is one of those episodes where I watched it and just kind of took my whatever notes, but after discussing it and breaking it down, I actually enjoyed it more after talking about it because, like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't think when I'm watching it, oh, Shane's doing this and this is happening and whatever. So I gave this show a C when I watched it, but I'd give it a B minus after we kind of broke it down and looked at it deeper.
Yeah, we still had Louis. I mean, we still had Sammy the silk pajama guy. We still had Lance Wright. I mean, we still had that Raven thing. I mean, there was a whole bunch of, I wouldn't call them high points, but I wouldn't call them negatives either. It was interesting enough.
and that being said, we're gonna sign off for this week's episode of Reliving the Extreme. I want to thank everybody for listening, and as we say every time, make sure you share, tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your mistress about Reliving the Extreme and how much you like the show and that they should be listening to, especially if they're an old school ECW fan. And of course, if you have Peacock or if you have these episodes of ECW, we do it week by week, so it shouldn't be any mystery which show we're going to be reviewing the next week. So go ahead and watch the show.
Unless you're me.
So you can watch along with us. And if you have any comments, you can send them to me, comments or questions, relivingtheextreme@gmail.com, or join us on the WNR Facebook page group. And that's it. That's all I got. Unless you guys have anything else, we're going to sign off for the week. And have a great week, everybody.
See you later, ham bones.
Thanks, guys.